right, Adrix's first trip. We're off. You ready, Adrix? Big step. Hold Mama's hand. Let me see. Okay, go to the car. Here we go. Hi there, Ambia Phelan here. So for the first video of 2019, I wanted to share with you my traveling experience with a toddler over the holiday season. We went to New Jersey for Josh's parents live in New Jersey. He grew up out there. And so every other Christmas we like to go, over and visit his parents. And so this was our first year with Adrix. And let me tell you, it was quite the experience, and I'll show you some of the tidbits of what happened and some of the things that I learned. Some things worked, some things didn't work. And I'll explain those later on in the video. So for the first one, I just wanted to share with you our experience with Adrix and how he felt about traveling on an airplane for technically his second time, but the first time he was 3 weeks old, so it doesn't really count because he just kind of laid there. This time he had legs and arms that moved, fully functioning, and a mind of his own. Very beginning of the trip, when we walked into the security, he was listening so well and he seemed very excited, and I had hoped this had foreshadowed how well the rest of the trip was going to go and how well behaved he was going to be for the rest of the trip to New Jersey. That's funny now looking back on what really happened towards the end of the trip, but that comes later. The beginning of the trip was actually a breeze. He was fascinated with the lights and all of the sights going on and in the plane. He didn't want to walk going in. He was a little scared, so we had Dad hold him. But once he got on, he wanted to check it all out. Every nook and cranny. He even went and met the flight attendants. We got Dad. And he's already ready to roam. Nobody else is on the flight yet. He's already ready. Okay, so some little tips that I found out. A friend of mine who travels with her son quite often gave me a couple of really good tips that I tried on this trip, and it worked really well. So if you're traveling with a toddler, one really good thing is to bring some toys that he's never seen before. I went to Target and did like the whole little dollar, they have like a dollar section, $1 to $5. They always have really cool toys for little kids. So I went and picked out a couple of those things so that he can play with them on the airplane, and it's like new and exciting for him. But then I also brought some toys that made him feel comfortable. One of them was his teddy bear, for example, just to make him feel like, okay, like it's still my stuff, it's still my home, I feel comfortable here, but so many new things, right? So that was a really good one. The second one was giving him snacks to help with his ears and the pressure in the actual cabin. In the very beginning, during takeoff, as you can see, he's really excited. Fruit snacks helped a lot because it's really chewy and it forces him to kind of chew a lot, and I think that really helped him just keep his ears from popping and getting too uncomfortable. On the way up, this helped. This is fun. The whole experience, the beginning of the plane ride, was really easy peasy, and he did a really good job. Almost about an hour into Chicago, getting in, when we finally started to descend, that's when things started to get interesting. The rest of the plane ride was really good. He walked up and down, he saw all the people. He was a little frightened at all the people. I think he didn't really quite understand what all those people were doing on his plane, but he did really well, and he hung out with Dad and I the whole time. He did really good. It was really when we started descending into Chicago that he wasn't a fan of, and I'll show you right here. 1 hour left of our first leg. And we're getting in a speed. What's going on, then? Yeah. And And that was just the beginning, you guys. His cute little squeaks and little moans turned into wails. I mean, like, face red, screaming at the top of his lungs, wails. Everybody at one point who was sitting next to us ended up like looking around and being like, shut that kid up. And I felt so bad. I didn't video it because I didn't want to be that girl that was like, their kid is freaking out and I'm sitting like, say cheese, honey. You know what I mean? So I ended up not videoing that part. I just felt really bad. I felt bad for him mostly because it was his ears. Like, his ears hurt so bad. A couple of things that, you know, we tried was the fruit snacks. He didn't want the fruit snacks. One of the guys next to us actually said that it worked for his kids, and Josh tried it where he put his hands like this against his ears and he kind of squeezed a little bit and then released it really fast. And that actually seemed to help. First time, not so much, but the second time he actually stopped for a minute and was like, kind of like a release, you know? And even the airline hostess came over and was trying to like distract him with balloons and all that kind of stuff. So I felt really bad for him. So yeah, the last hour was pretty hell. Even the airline hostess said though, like, his ears were hurting, you know, so it was a little different than what normally takes place. So it was more pressure than normal. So I think that really bugged his ears. And then ever since then, oh gosh, it was kind of, I don't know if he was getting tired because he only slept for like 40 minutes and he usually takes about a 2-hour nap. So the 40 minutes was catching up to him. All the stimulation was catching up to him. His ears were probably still hurting. So in Chicago, we had about 2 hours break in between our flights from Chicago to Philadelphia. And he was just delusional. Like, he was kind of almost like he was drunk a little bit, but he was really delusional. And I'll show you this clip in a second of how our whole 2 hours went. It was so much fun, as you could probably tell on my face by the end of it. Check it out.
So, Ambia, what's happening?
He keeps running for like 5 feet and then dropping in the middle of a crowded plane.
Where are we at?
We're in Chicago. We're waiting for our next flight to Philadelphia.
Meanwhile,
come on, off the ground. Come on, baby. Let's go. Move it. No. Oh, let's go this way. No. I know. This was our last hour on the airplane. This guy. I felt really bad for everybody else on the airplane. Can you say hi? You just say hi.
good job, bud.
So needless to say, by the time we got to Philadelphia, we were exhausted. All three of us were exhausted. And I mean, the 2 hours to Philadelphia, he was still whining and moaning. Like, I think he was just obviously over it. We all were over it. But he finally fell asleep on the way down. So that probably helped his ears a lot because he stayed asleep up until when we landed and kind of queued into our portal. But yeah, super exhausting. So little tidbits, you know, take fruit snacks, take lots of snacks and stuff. Take some toys that they've never seen before, take toys that they have seen before. And if their ears start hurting, good luck. that was our experience anyways. The way home was 10 times better. He moaned a little bit from his ears, but it wasn't bad at all. Like, I don't know if he was just used to it or it was like a close encounter of like, oh, I remember this type thing. The way home was beautiful. It was a breeze compared to on the way there. So, and you know, maybe it just means that we have to travel more. More traveling videos might be in our future. So yeah, so that's it. That was our experience flying to New Jersey with a toddler. Please let me know at the bottom of the comments if you've traveled with toddlers, what's worked for you, what hasn't, if you've had any horror stories. Let me know at the bottom. I'd love to hear from you. All right, guys. Well, that's it for this video. I'll see you later. Bye.